Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a continuation of the rod series. I'm just letting you guys know what kind of rods I use and the type of the actions for the type of the techniques that I utilize the rods for. So this video is going to be about my big stick, the 7'10" heavy action extra fast rod, one piece. It is made by Bass Pro Shop. It is their Bass Pro Shop XPS Extreme series rod, which they no longer make. They discontinued this, and it kind of aggravated me in a sense because it's a damn good rod. I have yet to find another rod to replace this for the price range that I paid for this. I think I paid like $120 for this. It was well worth it. I've caught some very nice fish, multiple PBs on this rod. I use it for many different applications, techniques, top waters, anything, swim baits. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Once again, hit the like button. Thank you for subscribing if you're subscribed. If not, you're passing through. Thank you for passing through. Hit the like button and think about maybe hitting that subscribe button for me. Helps the channel out. Content's only going to get better as we get further into the warmer months that are literally 43 days away until the first day of spring. So with that said, let's get into this video. Now, so back to the first video that I did talking about the best all-around type of rod or size of rod that you need to utilize for a multiple amount of the techniques that you see nowadays in bass fishing. And that would be a 7-foot medium heavy one-piece bait cast rod and reel. That right there, you can cover just about most of the freaking techniques that they offer. Anything finessey, you have to go to a fairy wand or a spinning rod and reel, or downsize to a 7-foot medium action bait cast rod. But nonetheless, 7-foot medium heavy is the best all-around rod for a multitude of techniques and applications. I've caught many fish. I think I run 3 or 4 of those 7-foot medium heavy setups in my combos. I think I rock about 9 to 11 combos every time I go fishing. Sometimes I leave the spinning rods behind. Most of the time it's just straight bait casters. But so 7-foot medium heavy, that's one of the best all-around rods. If you're going to get into the bass fishing, and the first 3 rods that you need to purchase is going to be a fairy wand, 7-foot medium action for all your finessey stuff. You get the 7-foot medium heavy bait caster for a lot of the spinner bait, crankbait, chatterbait, rattle trap, smaller swim baits, top waters. You know, most of those rods to me are rated for about 1.5 ounce lure. Really on a 7-foot medium heavy, you're not going to really go above 1 ounce in weight of a lure, in my opinion. The next rod that you would need to get is a 7'6" heavy action fast rod. That's going to be your pitching and flipping. Back in the day, 7'6" heavy action rod, that was considered a flipping rod, like the biggest rod that a lot of people had in their arsenal. Nowadays, the rods have gotten bigger, heavier, longer, lighter. They fine-tuned a lot of their rods for a lot of the techniques nowadays. Really, this is just my preference. This is what's worked for me and my fishing in the last literally close to 20 years. I think I've had this rod for gotta be at least 8-9 years. It's one hell of a rod. I've caught a lot of fish on it. Let's go ahead and talk about the reel that I put on it. This here is a Johnny Morris Signature Series Bass Pro Shop size 20. It's a JMX 20 HD. It's a beefed up reel. It can handle bigger lures. It's not going to strip the gears out as long as you stay within the realm of what the rod is rated for. This rod is 7'10", half ounce to 3 ounce. Yeah, half ounce to 3 ounce in weight. For that's the lure weight. The line weight is 15 to 30 pounds. Power is heavy. Action is extra fast. This is a well-built rod. So I put this on to this rod. I slap usually 80-pound braid on this rod for a majority of my fishing. It kind of depends on what I'm doing. For a majority of the stuff, you can get away with 80-pound braid for a majority of the techniques. Swim baits, flipping, giant big top waters, bigger swim baits. You can get away with that. But if you want to fine tune it, you can go down to like 25 to 30-pound fluorocarbon for some of these swim baits, like Swim Bait 58 has here. This is the rod that he has picked out for his. This is a Kitech 7.8 with the modified 10-aught flashy or owner flashy swim hook. We modified it. Took off that little stupid wire that always seems to break on those flashy swimmer hooks. Replaced it with some owner hyperwire split rings and a little piece from a spinnerbait. And that right there is one bad dude. You put the 7.8 or the 6.8 on there. This is a Johnny Morris Platinum Signature Series rod. It is way different than this other extreme rod by Bass Pro Shop. This is 7'10", 3/8 to 1.5 ounces in weight. To me, that's more fine-tuned. That's more for a swim bait, not necessarily for what I utilize this rod for. Like all this stuff I utilize on that green rod. Once again, that rod is rated for 1 to 3 ounces. So you put this on, you're able to pitch and flip, which is one of my favorite things to do. I have some stuff here. I don't use the extra wide gap hook when I pitch and flip. I'll use the offset J bend, or I use a straight shank. I prefer straight shank over anything. That's just the best deal for everything. I use a 1 ounce weight here in Pacific Northwest. Maybe I can go up to 1.5 ounces, maybe 1.25 ounces weight, but really 1 ounce is really all you need. There's really not too much thick stuff that you can't penetrate with a 1 ounce tungsten flipping weight. I utilize a bobber stop too above that, so the weight doesn't slip around. It pins it right to the back of the eyelet on the hook. I utilize a Snell knot when I tie this up for pitch and flipping. Type of baits that I like to use is the Berkley Havoc Pit Boss in the 4-inch. They make this in the 5-inch as well. Coloration really doesn't matter. You just want something that's doesn't have a whole lot of appendages that are going to slow it down. So you really want it just streamlined like a bullet. Like, let's go ahead and rig this up like it would be. Oh, I just ripped that bait. Awesome. So let me just grab another bait. Let me just grab that bait. All right, so let's go ahead and, so this bait is made. It's very handy. The first little bit, this is a 5/0 flipping hook. So you come down like this. You see it come right out, right there, perfect. Push it down, spin it. Just gonna get that hook keeper on there. I just fold that over and stick it in there like that. And that is totally weedless. And we utilize a a bobber stop, put this weight on, tie your hook on, thread your soft plastic on there, and it's going to look something similar to this. And then you can work on your pitch and flipping. Here's another setup that Swimbait 58 had rigged up from last summer when he was here. This is like a new thing for me to be showing you guys as far as flipping. They utilize these baits down in Florida. It is a Gambler Easy Swimmer with a 1 ounce flipping weight, pegged. I tell you what, you pitch and flip this around, as soon as that thing hits the water, man, you'll feel that thunk, or you see that whole mat shake or the grass patch shake, maybe the pads, whatever your kind of vegetation or kind of stuff that you're flipping. But this right here, you put this on 80-pound braid, oh yeah, you can flip this all day long. It's super light. It's a very good bait. Be surprised on flipping a freaking swim bait, how successful you can be. Especially flipping behind everybody with, you know, your typical crawfish type baits. So that's just another variation to maybe check out, maybe try when the time is right, as far as flipping baits. So the Berkley Havoc Pit Boss is probably one of my favorite flipping baits. I really prefer that. Some of the other baits you can utilize is Big Bite baits. They make some stuff. Some of the stuff I don't like. It's too thin. Pretty picky, but I can't really tell until I actually buy the freaking package of baits. Luckily, they don't cost an arm and a leg. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at flipping baits is to look at the one that Guggen Squad comes out with called the Nuke, called the Nuke. So it's a solid body tube. Looks like this, but it's a solid body tube. So it's not hollow like a normal tube is. So it's solid, so it doesn't tear up as easy. And that's one of the key things when you're flipping for, you know, pretty much all day long. Last thing you want is keep fixing your tube. So this is a young tube, but you can see it's all hollow on the inside of it. That Nuke that Guggen Squad makes is not. It's solid right there. So you have all that plastic right there that actually stays positioned on the hook. Especially after pitch or flipping for, you know, an hour or two. Sometimes the keeper will fall, or this will start tearing up real bad and it'll start sliding down. You have to take it off, pinch off about a 1/4 inch of the bait, re-thread it back on there, get a couple more lives out of your baits. I've utilized super glue as well, just to keep the bait on there. So tubes, craws, another cool looking bait that's kind of old. It's a Berkley Havoc Devil Spear, designed by Mike Iaconelli. But this is the type of stuff you want to be flipping. You don't want a bunch of stuff like your normal crawfish. Some of those have way too much stuff. Like this bait right here. This had way too much stuff going on. Like I would probably pinch off a lot of that stuff just to keep it simple, finessey, simple. That's all you got to do. So the Devil Spear is pretty cool. I've caught some fish on those baits. You can utilize swim baits as well. One of the other baits is just a craw fatty. Looks like this. Break that. I would pinch those little things off it so it's more streamlined and easier to pitch and flip. But just another bait. Some of the colors I like for the pitch and flipping is anything with chartreuse or black and blue or Junebug. Either one of those colors will work. So that's pitch and flipping with this rod with 80-pound braid. You could totally get away with doing it. I've talked about this Kitech 7.8 on the Owner Flashy Swimmer hook. That's modified, so that stupid little wire won't break. You can fish it on 25-pound braid or 80-pound braid, especially if you have lots of wood. You can put this swim bait where you can't put your traditional open hook swim bait, like the Magdraft here, or like the Nessie 9-inch. This is only, 2-ounce bait. It's a 9-inch bait, but 2 ounces. Can't really, that would max out your flipping rod. So this bait weighs 3 ounces. So it would be maxing out that rod, but I feel like you can get away with fishing an 8-inch Magdraft on that. I probably wouldn't go with the 80-pound braid. I probably would go with 30-pound fluorocarbon or 25-pound. But yeah, so that's what swim baits. You could even get into some light, smaller type glide baits. You don't need to go above 3 ounce on the glide bait. The other deal is top waters. My favorite thing in the world is top waters. I got Batman right here. It's got a broken ear. You'll probably get away with throwing this bait or throwing the majority of these baits on a 7'6" heavy action rod. But some of these, like the Whopper Plopper 190, you cannot throw that because it's too heavy. You'll probably break the tip of the rod. This is a Savage Gear snake right here, topwater snake. 80-pound braid. You can even get away with 65-pound braid on a 7'6" heavy action rod. I have Ricky the Rat right here, another Savage Gear bait. I have the Strike King Mega Dog, Mega Sexy Dog. It's a giant walking bait. I think it's a 2-ounce walking bait. Listen to the sound of this thing. Caught a few fish on it. I've had a couple of really big giant fish come up and totally miss this thing. I don't know how they miss it, but they do. But my number one prize bait on this rod and reel right here that they no longer make is going to be the Whopper Plopper 190. Color does not matter. It's the sound. Throwing this on that 7'10" rod with 80-pound braid in the summertime, in August, in the middle of the dog days of summer, I caught a 30-pound sack. 5 fish that weighed over 30-pound sack at Lake X. In August 8th, I think it was 2016, I caught a gigantic bag of fish. Best 5 fish went over 30 pounds, just shy of 31 pounds on this rod. That day I caught 2 PBs. Back-to-back PBs. I think the 7 3/4 was the biggest I caught on the Black Loon Whopper Plopper 190, made by River to Sea. Other than that, that one rod takes care of so many techniques. Pitch and flipping, a swim bait to a glide bait to magnum size top waters. A magnum size underspin as well. Other than that, I hope this video helps you guys out. Oh, another thing before I leave. Make sure you guys, when you get your rods, make sure you utilize these rod sleeves. They protect your rods, your eyes. Last thing you want is a cracked rod. As you can see, I have quite a few of those. It's only getting worse and worse. But anyway, just utilize these. They really protect your rods when you're traveling from point A to point B. Hit the like button. I appreciate each and every viewer, subscriber, and every other person that's passing through. Until next time, Swimbait79 out.